This is the 20th season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, Aftco, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning, and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. We had a banger week of shows last week. I kind of impressed myself with some of the guests he brought on. Really enjoyed it. A little bit of a Minnesota theme. That's okay. We're going to continue that this week, believe it or not. Good show today. I was sitting there, and it's been like a year exactly since I had Brandon Card on. And Brandon and I are roughly the same age. He was one of the first real big groups of collegiate anglers to come out of Kentucky. He was out of Kentucky. Elam was out of OSU. Chip was out of OU. And they were like, oh, my God, we got college guys that are fishing now. And now, everybody is. And I think that's one of the big reasons why you're seeing so many young anglers that are doing so well early on in their career with lack of experience at the top level. So we'll talk to Brandon Card about that. We'll also talk to him about his health. He's having a solid year here inside the Classic Cut, looking to qualify for his 8th Classic in 2025, which is at a really cool venue coming up in Fort Worth here next year. I would also like to win an Open and be a part of that. There's a chance. I've been buying high dollar swim baits online because the old 12-pound limit isn't going to get it done anymore since I'm in 90th. I bought a clutch darter. God, this is embarrassing to admit it. I spent $280 on a clutch darter. I have no idea how good a clutch darter is, but it's one of those deals where they got it in the right people's hands, and then the right people have taken some videos with it. And it was one of those FOMO deals that I ordered it, and it's going to be here on the 6th. So supposedly that's the blueback herring deal to end all blueback herring deals. So we'll check that out. But like I said, I mentioned Minnesota. I mentioned there was some stuff going on, and BTL. I'm super excited about this. You guys have the opportunity. Well, we'll bring in Pete and Kipp from Omnia to talk about this. There they are up in Minnesota. What do you know? Another Minnesota guest. I had Moyne on. I've had Bartuza. Everything is for some reason has been around Minnesota lately. But that's cool because there's a lot of badass people in Minnesota who catch fish, right?
Well, thank you very much for saying that.
All right, what do you guys have going on? We've kind of kept it a little bit under wraps over here at BTL, but you guys have launched a really cool contest that's been going on for the past couple weeks and for the next couple weeks, wrapped around Seth Feider and beating his best 5 bass.
That's right. We've been looking for different ways to get the word out on Pro, our app that we've been working on for a long time here at Omnia Fishing. The Pro mapping stuff starting to really bear some fruit, and we want to show some people about it, so we're going to showcase it with that tournament with Tourney X. Kipp, you want to let them know a little bit more about what's going on here with that?
Yeah, so it's a completely free tournament to join. Anybody can join, and anybody can win through the tournament. So the goal, like Panger said, is to beat Seth's best 5 fish in length. So you can see the leaderboard there a little bit. But people have already been entering. It runs for a few more weeks. And Seth is going to be fishing on Wednesday up on Mille Lacs, and he's going to be entering his best 5. Anybody that beats him is going to be eligible to win a free prize pack from Omnia. And then the cool thing is, if you are a Omnia Pro member, your prize pack is doubled. So there's also a promo going on through BTL that gets you a good deal on Omnia Pro. You can just go to omniafishing.com/BTL. And you'll get all that info there.
Yeah.
All right, here it is here. So like I said, couple cool things going on. You mentioned Seth will be live on Wednesday from noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. And we're streaming Seth live. You guys are going to be on. I'm going to be on. Yep. Are you guys, is Pat going to be on too? Did I see that originally? I don't know who all is going to be on.
I think Pat might be on in the morning. Yes.
Okay. So there's a morning and afternoon and stuff.
We're going to jump in for a couple hours at a crack, just showcasing Seth fish, and hopefully we can collide when he's catching them really good. So that's the plan. Well, when we're on in the afternoon, it'll be in studio and yourself.
Okay. Fantastic. So I probably should have had this more dialed in, but the plan is to simul stream it through the BTL YouTube, the Omnia YouTube, Omnia Facebook, the whole 9 yards. And we're going to get to watch Seth fish live to see how many inches he can catch. And then that's his total for the day. And then you go right over here with the BTL. It's just Omnia Fishing. Is that a / or a / Kipp?
That's a good question. I thought it was /.
It could have been /. It kind of looks like, I don't know whether, well, it starts out back and then it's going forward, but is it forward to back? So then it's a / or is it a / forward because it's going the way you're reading it?
Your guess is as good as mine on that.
Okay. Omnia Fishing, either a back or a / if it doesn't work, use the other one. BTL. And then there's info on this. This is very nice of you guys. I know you guys are a techie company, but here's like an entire BTL page if you guys have wanted to get caught up on Omnia. You can sign up for the virtual BTL listeners during this tournament, which runs, what did I have that pulled up? The tournament is from the 22nd of last month through the 16th of this month. So you have through the 16th. So Seth has to beat everyone just in one day. But you get 40% off your Omnia Pro subscription. That includes all of the perks that come along with the purchasing of the online stuff, plus all of the app stuff, right, Pete?
Yeah, correct. It's not just the e-commerce benefits, which is 10% back all the time, and free shipping with no minimums. But also, we're pretty pumped. Soon we'll be on here explaining to you some of the new features that are working on the app with the waypoint management and stuff like that. So I think you're gonna have a first in class experience with our app here coming shortly.
Normally $50, well, $49. I've never understood why not just round it up? It's like the gas thing. Like, why is it always like $190 or $299.9? So roughly $49. It's not. It is exactly then $49 regular price. So half, 40% off would be $29 for an entire year of Omnia Pro. No BS. I've talked to guys from Florida, from New York, from Minnesota, from Illinois, from Oklahoma. Very happy with Omnia Pro. And have made their money back on top of that, plus with the app. But capital BTL4 Pro that you can use on that pro code when you check out for 40% off. And then, as always, the first time you purchase with BTL, capital BTL24 for 15% off on that. Like I said, link is in the YouTube description for that. But cool with what Omnia is doing. So we'll do a regular BTL on Wednesday morning, 8:30 to 9:30, and then we'll be back again with Seth Feider. I didn't realize he was on Mille Lacs. Now I'm pumped because I've been seeing what some of the guys have been catching out at Mille Lacs.
Oh yeah, should be a good time. So noon to 2 with Seth. I'm pretty fired up about it myself. I plan on chirping him quite a bit.
Oh yeah, you're going to be able to talk to him then? Like if people have questions that they want to ask Seth and stuff, can they get on and ask him that while he's competing?
We will be. We have 2 people in the boat with him up there, and they will be reading your questions that you've come through BTL on. If your BTL listeners want to have any questions, you will. Seth will hear them. So
I still remember like when he made that all-star event up there on Mille Lacs, like that was kind of the first look at how big of a rock star Seth was to the people in Minnesota and how like revered he was about catching fish. On a couple of guys were just like, oh yeah, that's like a ton of Minnesotans like brought him just like handmade gifts, cookies, baked goods. They just wanted to like be close to him. There were kids picking up his cigarette butts to put on freaking eBay.
Yep, that's quite accurate. He became a rock star right about that time. So.
All right, guys. Anything else before I let you go for the morning, or are we just we'll see on Wednesday?
We got lots of prep work to do here to get ready for Wednesday, but thanks for having us on, and we look forward to a whole bunch of people signing up for this thing. It should be a fun deal.
Appreciate
Kipp,
it.
Pete, we'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. See ya.
See ya.
All right, that is one of those deals. Obviously, BTL goes as the listeners and the fans go, which then correlates with the sponsorship. And I'm not going to lie, it took a while to figure out and work where Omnia fit in that. But, man, I've really appreciated the partnership that I've developed with the guys at Omnia over the past couple years. Look forward to more years in the future and really a lot of great and positive feedback. I like that those guys are innovative. They try new things when it comes to purchasing. When it comes to purchasing your tackle, you can have someone help you. They do the regional stuff. They're working on the app. They do this. A lot of cool stuff. By Omnia. All right, let's get to our guest today. Brandon Card. He's been on BTL since he joined the Bassmaster Elite Series. What year was your rookie year? I know, was it 2009 or 2010? Because you were rookie of the year, or 2011.
It was actually 2012.
Oh, man. Ken Duke is shedding a tear somewhere.
Yeah.
2012. So,
I graduated from college in 2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then 2 years of the Opens and then Elite Series in 2012.
Well, it was, I actually worked, I started a landscape company and just saved up as much money as possible. So I did that for like 2 years while I was fishing the Bass Nation, and then signed up for the Opens in 2011, and then on the Elites 2012.
Is it hard to believe that it's 2024 now? And are you one of the top? You've got to be one of the top 10 most senior Elite Series guys, aren't you?
I don't even know. I mean, that's kind of a wild concept, but yeah, I mean, if all the guys wouldn't have left, obviously that would not be an accurate statement. But yeah, since 60 something guys left, then yeah, I guess that really, that's probably about right.
Because Polinick, I remember Polinick was on the last video that he was talking about how he had the second most classics out of anybody in the Bassmaster Classic this past year on grade. Which it seems like Polinick's still a kid. Like, you remember that 2010 or 11 Classic?
Yeah.
Down in when he was throwing the Bandit. It just seems like just yesterday, but then you look at it and you're like, oh no, that was like over 12 years ago.
Yeah, he was throwing the Bandit that he bought in the bargain bin for like $1.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Does it seem like a long time? Like, does it seem like you were just a rookie, or does it feel like you've been doing this forever? I mean, dude, you've gone from like college kid to like single, married, kids, major health, like the whole gamut, all while fishing on the Elite Series. Does it seem just yesterday you're just jumping on the thing as a rookie?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, this is my 13th season. And if I just had to guess, just kind of like just thinking, it feels like I've been on the Elites about 5 years. That's how I feel. And so 13 years, that's kind of a long time. And it's just totally flown by. It's just a blur, really. And it's been a blast, man. I've just tried to enjoy the ride, as much as possible. I feel like I had several seasons where I really struggled, and I had maybe three seasons or 3 or 4 seasons there. And those were the years where I took it too serious and I did not have fun. And I was like, just so focused on getting that win, and kind of took the fun out of it for me, And so I was able to kind of rekindle the fun that I had the first several seasons on tour. And, I'm just trying to keep that going. So, these last, 5, 6, 7 years have been an absolute blast.
What percentage of Elite Series anglers would you say have fun, enjoy their time, enjoy the year? And I mean, you could even just go into like the last 2 years on this, because to me, from the outside looking in, I'm not at every single Elite Series event anymore like I used to be, but it seems like there's fewer and fewer guys who are enjoying the process. You see a lot more like the way it's stress and worried looks and social media posts about not their uncertain future. Like out of the 100 guys, 103 guys, what percent would you say like are really having fun on tour?
I'd probably do a half and half. I'd say 50%.
Okay, that's fair.
I'd say 50% are having a good time out there, and that's kind of made up of the new guys and the older guys. I feel like most of the rookies most of the rookies are having a blast. Okay, so that's 10 guys every year. You see it every year. There's 10 guys. They're just living their dream. That's their first year out there. I remember how I was when I was a rookie. I was just, not a care in the world, I'm on the elites. Like, I don't have anything to prove, I'm just having fun. And then I guess the second year guys start getting a little bit of pressure because, that's the year where they could potentially be cut, if they're not, not in the top 70 and their career average is not high enough. So I think maybe some of those second year guys start to, feel that stress. But yeah, then I guess, so let's just say 10, 15 of the new guys, and then I throw about 35 of the older guys in there, just having fun, just enjoying it. And I think the other half of the guys are just, either stressed out about requalifying, financial stresses, which we all go through those. And then just kind of how the sport's evolving and, to what it is now, how it's changed so drastically. I think that's kind of taken a lot of the fun out of it. And that's an easy trap to fall into. Like I said, I was kind of in that mindset where the fun was gone, for about 3 or 4 years. And it's not a good place to be.
How'd you get out of it?
Well, actually, this was towards the end of the 2018 season. I think we had about 3 tournaments left. And I was kind of like at wit's end. I was like, what is going on? I was just way too stressed, wasn't fishing good. And so I reached out to Brent Chapman because I had read an article where Brent Chapman hired a performance coach. And I don't know if you've talked to Brent about that on here.
No.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
We haven't talked about this.
Yeah. So this is an interesting deal. Uh-oh, my phone just fell.
Oh, you're back.
Okay, hang on.
I'm trying to find this article.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm back now. All right.
Yep.
So Brent, he talked, I think it was either to Bassmaster or Bass Fan about this performance coach that he had hired that helped him get out of a slump, kind of he was having some mental struggles on the water. And I was like, man, that sounds like me, I'm not in it mentally, And so I called him. It was right before the Lake Oahe tournament, that first one that Mark Daniels Jr. won.
Yep.
And I just talked to him, just 30-minute phone call. He kind of gave me the rundown and said, he really thinks that it would help me. And he gave me the guy's number. I called him up. We started working together right then and there. And basically it was the last 3 or 4 months of the 2018 season through most of the 2019 season. And really, I would say in the first 2 to 3 months, I was able to kind of get the mindset back to where it was,
And do you think this was because of working with the coach and doing exercises and consciously or was it? I think there's a lot of us, like I'm included, to where I'm like, oh yeah, this would benefit me, but then I'm always like, I've had Matt Steffen's mental coach on. I've talked about it before on the show, but then when it actually comes down to doing it, I'm like, dude, it's freaking fishing here. Like, let's get real about this. There's nothing you can do extraneously that changes, but you're saying, you know what I'm talking about, Brandon?
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah. And I was just to the point to where I just, it's just kind of like I just didn't have anything else. So I was like, well, I have to try this. And so
19 and 20, you did.
I think it was I think it was a combination of talking to the performance coach, but then also just having fun again. And so maybe that's kind of one and the same. Maybe I talked to the performance coach, got the mental game strong again, then kind of had, some success on the water. I was able to trust my instincts a little bit more on the water, kind of regain some confidence. Maybe that kind of rolled into bringing the fun back. It might have just kind of all happened, just kind of simultaneously. And, now just kind of thinking back to the process. Yeah, it was, I would say the performance coach was able to pick out several things that I was doing wrong, like pretty quick. And stuff that I really didn't think about too much. So that was definitely key. He also taught me that that I shouldn't judge my success on the water by the standings at the end of the day. And so as a competitor, that's kind of an interesting concept. You're like, well, that's the only way of judging my success is where I rank at the end of the day. And so he basically said, that you need to judge the success based on like the process. So like based on, did you execute a game plan? Did you keep a high level of focus the entire day? Did you did you have a positive, mindset the entire day? And so those type of things were what I started focusing on instead of focusing on, heck, I got to catch, I got to catch this much amount to make the cut, or I got, like on day 2, maybe you have a rough day 1. Well, dang, I'm out of this tournament unless if I catch one of the biggest bags of the tournament, And so it's like all those things that you're worrying about on the water. If you're worrying about standings, that's affecting your decision-making process, your focus and all that when you're on the water. And so I feel like that is probably one of the biggest takeaways. There's another takeaway there's probably not many people have, but he was able to find this issue with me, is that he said, he basically, we went back through a lot of tournaments in the past, and I kind of told him what I did. So the good tournaments and the bad tournaments. Okay, I did this, and this in the good tournament. I did this, and this in the bad tournament. And he was able to kind of uncover this deal, which I subconsciously, I kind of knew I was doing it, but I didn't know it was like affecting me as bad as it was. And so what it was I didn't have the confidence to fish the same like areas that's like the known areas where like 80% of the boats are going to be fishing. Like for instance, Lake Wheeler, the Decatur Flats. There's going to probably be, let's just call it 70% of the guys, 80% of the guys are more than likely going to be fishing in or around the Decatur Flats in this next event. And so I would purposely avoid those areas because I did not want to fish on other boats. And I didn't realize it was a confidence thing, but after we kind of dove into it a little bit, he was basically saying that you don't have the confidence that you can beat these guys fishing in these well-known areas, that you're always searching for this, off the wall, this hole in the wall, spot where you can have success where nobody else is fishing. And I was like, man, dang, you're right. Because, and it all kind of started at the first Sabine River tournament. I found this, I think we talked about this a few times. I found this backwater area where I had to crawl through this long culvert. I literally had to lay on the front deck of my boat and push my way in. And I got a top 10 out of there. That was my sophomore season on the Elite Series. And I think that top 10 kind of actually hurt me a lot down the road because that was so cool being able to find this untapped, backwater pond where nobody else was fishing. And so I would always look for that tournament after tournament after tournament. I was looking for that needle in the haystack area. And I was burning, honestly, almost every single tournament, I would burn at least 1 day of practice, if not 2 days of practice, searching for that.
Just looking for something sneaky.
And so that was my biggest issue, is that I was pretty much just sacrificing 1 or 2 days of practice every single 3-day practice period. And so then I would have like the final day of practice to go figure out, something on the main body of water.
Against the Elite Series guys who have had 2.5 days of practice.
Exactly. Yeah.
And still trying to avoid the areas with the highest population of quality fish.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly,
that's not a good combination.
No. And I mean, it's kind of, you would think that I would have figured that out. And I kind of knew that I was like searching for like a needle in the haystack winning area, but I just thought I was just trying to win, but along the way I would get like 95th place and, 97th.
2019 that you started working with him?
It was the Lake Oahe tournament in 2018 is when I started. Yeah. So basically I did like a 1-year deal. So it was pretty much the last couple of tournaments in 2018 through most of the 2019 season.
Yeah. So like let's just say that let's just took it 19. So in 18, you had 102nd and 84th and 89th. You had a 75th and 18 and 89th and 18 and 96th and 17. And I was looking at your stats. So if you start the 2019 season, you do not have a finish below 80th. After that, all the way up until an 84th midway through the 2022 season, Brandon. So you went from averaging 2+ sub 80 finishes a year to 0 in 3.5 years. It's hard to look at that and say that isn't a direct result of some of mental work.
Yeah, no, it really did help me. I feel like it helped me probably maybe more than it would some other people. Obviously, it helped Brent Chapman a lot, but.
And I also want to point out that's the only sub 80th you've had since then. Like, I mean, and it was an 84th. Like, you haven't even sniffed anything remotely close to that. You have like a 77th in there and a 75th, but there's no. I mean, that's strong.
I need to find some wood to knock on real quick. Hang on, I'm knocking on some wood over here. All right, I'm good now. No, I mean, yeah, and then also something that really has helped me a lot too was I used to never. This is a very simple thing, but I used to never throw a wacky worm. Like for my first 7 years on tour, I did not throw that thing. And so I actually went fishing with David Dudley once, and that son of a gun is a wacky worm catching full. And I learned so much in like, I think we fished. I mean, he fished with me for like a day, maybe a day and a half. I don't know, something like that. And like after that, I was like, oh my gosh, I've been leaving so many fish in these areas. And so that's also something else that has really helped me is that I'm able to just really maximize areas, especially shallow water events with that wacky worm. So whether I'm like, let's just say I'm on a frog bite, and I go through that area, catch several nice ones on a frog. I used to just leave that area and then I would go try to find more frog areas. Now I can pick up a wacky worm and, just keep catching them. You know what I mean? And so, and like, I do that all the time now. Like this year I got on a pretty good shad spawn bite and dog bite. They're kind of one and the same on Lake Griffin. And like, if I just would have been throwing just my normal top waters and bladed jigs and stuff through those areas that I found, I honestly don't think I would have made the cut, but I was able to throw the top waters and bladed jigs during the shad spawn, but then come back around with that wacky worm. And, I caught several really nice ones with that wacky worm. And, I was able to
$10,000 bait.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I really wasn't on much at all in practice. Like it was a horrible practice. So yeah, it was like, I was just able to maximize just a little bit of water that I had found in Griffin. And, I was able to make it to day 3.
Man, I didn't even know we were going to go here, but I'm glad we did. That's a good segment. Hey, we got to take our first break of the show. When we come back, more with Elite Series veteran Brandon Card. It's BTL on a Monday. We'll be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Gamakatsu, the innovation leader in fish hooks, is launching Nano Alpha technology in 2024. Nano Alpha is a new finish available on Gamakatsu's most popular hook styles. It delivers 2 times slicker performance, 4 times better corrosion resistance. Nano Alpha technology makes the world's greatest fish hooks even better in 2024 to help anglers catch more fish.
Born in Japan, using technology, innovation, and precision, Sunline produces the widest selection of fishing lines at the most technologically advanced line factory in the world. Manufactured at the strictest tolerances to produce victories at the highest levels of tournament bass fishing. From household names like Christie, Swindle, and Cruz, to young guns like Cook, Logan, New, and Welcher, they all trust Sunline to take them to the top of the leaderboard. Choose the line that will give you the strength to guarantee your confidence. Sunline.
Your early morning mentality is your every hour mentality. All gas, no brakes. Focus, purpose, power. Destined for the water, but confident everywhere else. A calming buzz before the storm, the truth of nature itself. You can't catch lightning in a bottle. There's a limit out there, but it's not with your gear. Unrelenting power delivery. Unparalleled weight savings. Keeping you on the water, whether you run a 9.9 or outscoping your best 5. In this rare air, there's power in the silence. It's a mindset, thinking only of the things that matter and freeing your mind from the things that you trust.
Get the best patterns backed by tournament data. Start by finding the best 10% of your lake. Know exactly what to look for and what to throw. After that, just put them in the boat. Try the Deep Dive app today.
Look at that beast right there.
All right, welcome back. Detailing on Monday, talking with Brandon Carr. There's some guys who want to dive a little deeper into the old wacky worm. I think what happened was you did it. So go ahead and exit, and then jump back on. Here, I'm going to kick him out of the studio. There you go. Kick guest. And now I'll have Brandon come back on. Here's what happened. I think he had a call beforehand, and sometimes when you have a call beforehand, when you come back on, it puts your audio on your phone instead of on StreamYard. So let me text Brandon Card. There he is. He's back. Let's try it. Yeah, you're back there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I just couldn't hear you all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, it's all good. There's some people who aren't ready to move on from the wacky worm conversation. Like Jim said, can Brandon talk about what's different that David does the wacky worm, or what you've learned over the years on like why, or since you were on the water with him that you're picking up fish? Like, is there any trick to it, or is it just using it?
I think it's a little bit of both. It's mostly just using it. But I do feel like David, he works a wacky worm quicker than what I've seen other guys.
Okay.
Now you can do it both ways, but I feel like the quicker way, that suits my style a little bit better. You know, you see other guys like John Cox, and who else is really good with the wacky worm? Let's just call it John Cox. He fishes that thing pretty slow. Like if you watch him, he's fishing it pretty slow. Brandon Cobb's really good with the wacky worm. He fishes it pretty slow. I feel like Dudley, he works it. Like he'll twitch it pretty quick. He'll reel it up, cast it again, let it sink just a little bit, pop it. And so I was able to just kind of witness that firsthand. And I was like, man, that kind of suits my style. Like I just, for me, when I would try the wacky worm before, and I would catch fish here and there on it, but my confidence wasn't there because it was so painstakingly slow. And I was like, I was always I felt like I was antsy. I was like waiting for it to hit bottom. I was like, dang, I'm in 6 foot of water. It's taking forever for it to hit bottom. And so just being able to kind of work that thing faster. And then obviously, like, the more fish you catch on it, then you obviously gain a lot more confidence. And then it does help you fish it slower when you need to.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like, it's with any type of bait, the more fish you catch on something, the more confidence you have, which in turn is going to allow you to fish that particular bait as many different ways as possible. And so that's kind of what happened with me.
How important do you feel it is to, when you're trying to learn a new technique or get confidence in a new pattern or style of fishing, to get on the water with someone, and they don't even have to be a savant at it, but someone who has confidence and knows how to fish it? I'm thinking the jig head minnow for me, wacky worm, any of this stuff. Like, is that something that you find important? Is you could have everything, buy everything, watch every YouTube video, but the bestest way to become proficient and have confidence is to get on the water with someone who that's their jam.
Well, and honestly, that's probably the thing that I'm the worst at. I was talking to somebody the other day. Who was it? It was another angler. And I was talking about how I'm like the world's worst. Oh yeah, I was talking to Cobb the other day on the phone, and I was like, dude, I'm the world's worst at networking with people.
Yeah.
Getting in the boat with other guys, learning their strengths, and then maybe they learn something from my strengths. And I feel like some of the guys at the top level of this sport are the best at that. They seek out these guys that are really good with certain techniques, and they learn from them. The guy that goes with them learns, and so it's kind of a win-win situation. And I mean, honestly, other than Dudley, like, no joke, other than that 1 or 2 days with Dudley, I don't know. I fished with Chad Pipkins for a day or two up on St. Clair. That may be, oh yeah, I fished with Ott years ago before Ott was ever a pro, before I was ever a pro. We were just, probably teenagers or whatever in East Tennessee. I fished with him for like a day. Other than that, those are like probably the only pro anglers I've ever fished with. And really, even like, I feel like a lot of the stuff that you learn, it doesn't even have to be from pros. It just has to be from just somebody that's like really good, just a regional guy. And I have fished with several really good guys here in North Carolina that are good at, certain techniques, and definitely opened my eyes to a few techniques. Last year I went with a buddy of mine, Jerry, and he was popping a jig, basically like kind of like stroking a jig under docks. And I was like, dude, that's like something I would do on like ledges. Like, I'm stroking a jig on a ledge, but I've never done that in 3 foot of water under a dock. And he whacked him that day. And I was trying all the normal stuff. I was trying the chatterbaits. I was, dragging the jigs, all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that has happened a few times in my life where, I've really got my eyes open to technique. But I feel like I need to be better at that. I need to be fishing with more guys.
Yeah. Like, I would love to hop in the boat with you during a shad spawn when you've got a walking bait tied on your hands. Because I would say out of any of the professional anglers, like, you have more confidence in a walking bait. Like, just year in and year out, there'll always be a couple times when you're aggressively fishing a walking bait on top. And I'm like, man, like, you have that bite dialed in.
Yeah, I love it, man. My dad is the one that taught me and my brother how to fish. My brother's 2 years older, and he essentially had 2 artificial baits. He threw a little Rebel weed crawl, the one that looks just like a crawdad.
Yeah.
And then he threw the Zara puppy, little guy, the little walking bait. That's it. Those are the only 2 artificial baits. And then everything else was night crawler fishing. And so that's all we knew for years and years and years. But every time my dad would pull out that Zara puppy and he would catch a big one on that walking bait, I was just like, that is the coolest thing ever. And so that's probably like the main reason I'm just like obsessed with the walking bait. Like I love it, man.
I mean, you'll throw that thing open water. I remember you've thrown it around flooded bushes and caught them. You've thrown it in dock slips down there in Mississippi where you were leading the tournament, casting it with, ropes and all. You were very versatile with that thing.
Yeah. And, I feel like that's just a confidence thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like those guys with glide baits, they throw it enough to get the confidence, and then they get really good at it. It's the same thing with me and that walking bait. Like, I just love throwing it, and I have so much confidence with it that I just keep throwing it,
Yeah. All right. So December, let's see if I get this timeline right, because it's crazy how long ago this was. December of 22, you got meningitis. It led to Bell's palsy. Everyone knows about your fishing with the patch on. Like, what are you, top 10, one of your first events? You ended up making a classic with it. We're 2 years into this, 22, 20. Yeah, we're over 22. Yeah, almost 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years into this thing. Dude, you just haven't quit. You stayed with it. And from what I could see, you can blink now.
Kinda.
Yeah, that's way better than it was before.
It is. I'm not complaining. It's way better than it was before.
So what is it? What's the status? Is this thing just slowly continuing to get better? Or, I mean, this is one of the wildest things that I'd ever heard of.
Yeah, it's been an interesting healing process, and I'm definitely thankful for where I'm at. So actually, I thought it was Bell's palsy for like the first 3 or 4 months, because that's what all the doctors told me. But then I went to a facial paralysis doctor that specializes in it. And within the first couple of minutes of him walking in the room, he said, "You have Ramsay-Hunt syndrome."
Oh, yeah, that's right. I knew that.
And so the Ramsay-Hunt syndrome is facial paralysis that's caused by the shingles virus, which is what I had. I had the shingles virus, which led to viral meningitis, which led to Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. And so Ramsay-Hunt syndrome is like a more severe case of facial paralysis. And basically, he said the longer that your face is like completely paralyzed, which my right side was completely paralyzed, no movement for like, I didn't get any movement until April. So basically from December, well, let's see, I came down with meningitis December 26th, but my face didn't actually start getting paralyzed until like, let's just call it the 1st of January.
Okay.
So essentially 4 months went by with zero improvement. And so basically he said, the longer that is, the less your odds are of getting a full recovery. So basically, like if my face would have been, if I would have started seeing a little bit of improvement at like month 1 or month 2, maybe the chances of having a full recovery would be really high. I know about the only other person like in the news that you have heard of with Ramsay-Hunt syndrome is Justin Bieber. And he had it a couple of years ago, and he's made a full recovery. So I would have to guess that his face improved, within the first month or two. Mine was 4 months with no improvement. So I would say mine's somewhat of just a partial recovery. But it's an interesting deal. So basically from April to probably July of last year is when I saw like the most improvement. So it was just like I was getting better. And so like around July, something else kind of started to happen, which is a thing called synkinesis. And basically that's where So basically, all the nerves on my right side of my face died back. They died back to like right in here, like.
So you have no feeling in that side of your face.
No, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say that. It was just basically like the nerves that moved all the muscles.
Okay.
That moved all the muscles. Yeah, I could. Yeah, like if somebody punched me in the face, I'd still hear it.
Okay.
I would still feel it.
I got you.
But yeah, so all the nerves that worked all the muscles died back to like right in here. They said, and so then the nerves start growing back. And what happens with the synkinesis is that some nerves that should be growing back to your mouth actually grow to your eye. And then some that are supposed to grow back to your eye grow to your mouth. And so that's actually kind of what I started to notice around, I would say, August of last year. I was like, dang, I feel like I'm getting some synkinesis, because I had read about it, but like in July, I didn't have it. And so like, I was like, man, I hope I don't get that deal that everybody keeps talking about. And then August comes around and I started to feel, so basically I can kind of represent what's happening. So like,
oh, someone called him. He's muted. So I'm going to have to jump him off real quick. I forgot. I'm going to put that one on me, because I forgot to tell him to put his phone on Do Not Disturb, because we were originally going to do it through a computer with the link, but then my email did not work with the link. And tell him to jump back on here in a second. If anybody's, I kind of got it figured out. Here he is. He's back. Sorry, that one's on me, dude. Every time someone calls you, it kicks you off, and then when it comes back, it doesn't recognize your audio. So that's
my bad.
Yeah, no. So all right. So we're talking about synkinesis.
Yeah, long word. But yeah, so basically, when I try to smile, like the nerves that are coming from my brain, that's like telling my mouth to smile.
Yeah.
It's actually, some of them are causing my eye to squint. So I'll just kind of represent that. See?
Huh. Yeah, that is.
So if I'm not smiling, my eyes are close to the same size.
Oh, that is such a crazy thing that the human body can do.
Yeah. So it's interesting, man. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at now. I feel like I'm a heck of a lot better than where I was last year. I mean, way better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm kind of going, fighting through this synkinesis deal. The doctor said that I could actually do Botox. They could do like Botox right there that would kind of tell those nerves to stop squinting the eye. And he said that would help a lot. But I've not done it yet. I may try it in the off season just to see. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's a lot better. I would say I'm probably, let's just call it 70% back.
I would have guessed like 90.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, I feel like outsiders probably don't notice as much as you would personally. So yeah. But no, I'm positive about it. I mean, by me saying 70%, that's not a negative deal. I'm positive for sure with it.
All right, let's talk about what we have coming up. It's been a very interesting year on the Bassmaster Elite Series, and I'm looking at Wheeler Lake, June 13th through 16th, and then I'm also looking at Smith Lake, June 27th through 30th, the week before the 4th of July. I cannot remember two more grueling Elite Series tournaments on a schedule in recent memory. Correct me if you fished any two where you've looked at that schedule and gone, whew, those are going to be interesting ones. Not because they're sucky fisheries. We know what Wheeler is probably one of the best fisheries going on the TVA right now. Smith has big spotted bass, but you take into the time of the year, the field and the way it is, like, dude, like those are you looking at those as surviving that, getting up north? Because you are one of those guys. You are right on the classic cut right now.
Yeah. The thing that I've learned about fishing on the elites is you never know what to expect. Like, I think I did a podcast with Ronnie Moore before Lake Murray, and he was asking me which one of the tournaments was I the most excited about. And I said, I said, honestly, when the schedule came out, Lake Murray is the one that I'm the most stoked about. You know, like I feel like I could do really good on Lake Murray because of what we talked about earlier. You know, just like I love throwing a walking bait. Like I love throwing top waters. I love throwing that Yozuri 3DB pencil. And so I go down there, like, you know, just confidence through the roof. And I missed the day 3 cut. You know, I finished in like, what, 70, low 70s. So, I never know what to expect, man. Honestly, it's like some of the ones you think you're going to do really well in are the ones where you kind of struggle in, and then the ones you think that you're scared about, and you're like, dang, I don't know how I'm going to, you know, how I'm going to catch them there. Then you go just like figure something out and you catch them. Like it's just weird, man. Fishing's so weird. But no, I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean, I don't know what to expect. I think Wheeler's not going to be as tough, obviously, as Smith. Like nowhere close to as tough. That being said, though, Wheeler's still going to be pretty challenging because those Decatur flats are on, like they're on right now. Like they were on a couple of weeks ago. You know, that's the whole TVA chain. Like it gets good late May. So we're going after they've already been hammered, you know, for about 3 weeks. And so that's kind of an interesting deal, which that's happened to us before. We'll show up to a place where they've already been offshore for 3 or 4 weeks, and that's always challenging. But the best ledge bites are when they first get out there. You know, obviously, they're the easiest to catch. So that'll be challenging. Just trying to figure out, you know, finding some fish that maybe hasn't, you know, gotten fished for as much. You know, find something just a little bit off the beaten path there. Smith is going to be just really interesting in the fact that I think it's just going to be dealing with suspended fish and just chasing them around everywhere. And we do that up north, you know, in Lake Ontario with smallmouth. But the Elite Series hasn't really had a suspended, you know, forward-facing sonar event for spotted bass in a long time. So that's going to be interesting. I know the Bass Pro Tour, you know, has had a few of those, but yeah, they're going to be interesting for sure.
And then the head up north. Is it hard going back to the St. Lawrence River every single year now? Like that seems to be the one stop that I think is interesting on how you have the guys who always catch them, but it's not always one off of the same thing. It's not always one in the same place. It's not one by the same guy. The only thing that's consistent is the weights continue to go up and up and up. But now, I mean, this is your, 7th, 8th, 9th time that you've gone back there at fairly the same time of the year. It's kind of what I would consider to be like a Yankee Stadium or the Indianapolis spot. Like you just know that you're going to end up there in the summertime. It's going to be big weights. It's going to be smallmouth. Do you like that? Is that hard to adjust? Are there changes that you make every year when you know you're going to the same place?
Yeah. For the most part, I would rather go to fisheries that are just new. You know, like I love going to new bodies of water. That's what gets me the most excited when a schedule comes out and I see new places that we haven't been to. I get really, really pumped about those. And so honestly, I don't even know if this could happen, but I would love to see a complete schedule of new lakes, like literally all 9 elites and a classic completely new. That would be like the coolest season ever. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think obviously that's probably not feasible just from the standpoint of, I know the local communities have to host us and all that. And there's a lot of politics and, you know, finances that go into that. But yeah, I would say out of all the lakes that we continue to go to and fisheries that we continue to go to over and over and over, the St. Lawrence River is one of my favorites. And probably if you ask most of the guys on tour, they would pretty much all say that. And we just have so much fun when we go up there. It's a beautiful part of the country. The people up there just love having us. I mean, like Waddington, and even Clayton. I mean, heck, we've been out of Clayton a lot. Those towns are pretty small towns. Like people don't realize how small they are. They're like teeny tiny towns. And like everybody in that town is just like they're all about it, man. Like they just love us, and just that type of that type of a welcome that you get from all the local people is awesome. And then I mean, heck, the fishing is phenomenal. I mean, you can go up there and you can catch 18, 19 pounds a day and have the time of your life. Catch 30, 40, 50 bass and not even make the day 3 cut. Like you're driving home and you're kind of mad about not making the cut, but you can't be mad because you just had the time of your life. So it's a cool place, man. It's a super special place for sure. And the only thing that I wish is that when it goes out of Waddington, I wish it would be a river only tournament. Mm-hmm. And then when it goes out of Clayton, then we can obviously go to Lake Ontario. I feel like when they have us in Waddington and then they let us go to Lake Ontario, that's a heck of a lot of time driving in the boat. And honestly, if you're going to be fishing to win, you pretty much have to make that drive to Lake Ontario. So that's what I plan on doing. I know I'm going to be driving in the boat for like 4 hours after getting gas, 2 hours there, 2 hours back. But I'm not complaining. That place is awesome.
I'm doing some math. How many times do you think you fished it on the Elite Series?
This is my 13th season. I would say there's only been 4 years where I've not gone up there. I would say this is probably going to be my 9th time.
This will be your 10th. You fished it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you fished it 9 times. This will be your 10th.
10th time. Wow.
What do you think your best finish is?
My best finish was when I was fishing for largemouth.
You finished 4th on largemouth?
I did catch a couple I think I weighed in maybe 2 smallmouth.
Really? You top 5 the sucker primarily on largemouth.
Yeah, but Greg Hackney finished 3rd fishing in the same area for largemouth.
Yeah, that was that year. What do you think your worst finish is?
Oh, it was bad. Like I think it might have been that 2018 season when I went for largemouth day 1 because I tried to do it over again, because I was like, well, heck, I got 4th place last time. And so I went and I caught like 16 pounds of largies, and I was like, dang it. And all I had done was practice for largemouth, and I was like, well, I guess we'll just go freestyle it and see if we can catch some big smallmouth. And it did not work out too well on day 2.
What do you think your average finish over the 9 years in 100, anywhere from a 75 to 109 boat field over the 9 years? What do you think your average finish is on the St. Lawrence, regardless of where you go out of?
Well, I've had some good ones. I've had some horrible ones, and I've had some middle of the pack ones. So I'm going to say the average is probably middle of the pack. Let's just let's call it 43rd.
48th.
Oh, it's close.
That's a top 10. I was interested. I started looking at it. So you've had finishes. I love looking at trends. So like your last 5 seasons, like you went 66, 50th, 40th, and 38th. So like the last 5, you continually get better, but you have, 250th, 266, a 4th, a 20th, a 38th, like all over the board, regardless of where they go, regardless of where you guys go out to. Like that's a really, and you average a $10,000 check every time you go, but just by like an ounce.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I feel like my confidence is higher when I can fish the lake. So really, I mean, what I said earlier, I'm kind of glad that we can go to the lake, but at the same time, that's a grueling trek down there and having to get gas twice and all that. It just kind of throws a lot at you. But I tend to do better when I can go to the lake. I feel like my confidence goes down when I start drifting backwards in that current. It's just, that's not something that a Tennessee boy does. And, I've learned how to do it. I'm a lot better than what I was before. I feel like a couple of those years I did pretty decent drifting in that current, but if I can get away from drifting current, whether I'm on Lake Ontario fishing for smallmouth or in some of those bays off the river fishing for largemouth, that's kind of my comfort zone.
Very nice. Anything else you want to get in here?
No, man, I can't think of anything. Hope you finish the season strong. Go ahead and get you that win. And
oh yeah, it's gonna be on that. It's gonna be on that $200 glide bait, Brandon.
Dude, that's so crazy. I may be the only guy on the Elite Series that does not carry glide baits. I don't carry them. Yozuri, which Yozuri has two different brands. They have Yozuri and Hardcore. Hardcore makes a glide bait, and that's literally the only one that I've ever threw. And I don't even throw that one. I do not do the glide bait deal. And the reason is that my travel partner Clifford Purge,
he does do it.
Yeah, he told me. He said, Brandon, don't start. Do not do it. He said you will get addicted to it, and it will hurt you. He said it's hurt me so much. And so after that conversation, I was like, all right, I'm not going to do it. But honestly, the glide bait deal has kind of made a little bit of a comeback now that there's forward-facing sonar. I feel like before the forward-facing sonar, you were just throwing that glide bait and you were getting, fish that would just follow you. They would follow you. Now that you're able to see those fish follow that glide bait further out, you're able to do certain little things, with your reel, with your rod, and trigger more bites. And so I feel like Clifford's catching more fish on a glide bait now. Most guys that are glide bait fishermen are doing better on it. So maybe I should jump on that bandwagon, but I'm holding out. I'm still holding out.
My deal is like, I'm not saying that, I'm going to just go glide all tournament. And if I don't catch them, like I give Oliver Nye a lot of credit because he fished the Opens a couple years ago and he got smoked. But the dude stuck to his freaking guns and he threw big baits. And I know for a fact that like he's not going to sit there and bitch about it, but he probably had days where he was like, man, I should have 28 pounds when everyone else had 9. You know what I mean? Like he had those days. So to go into every tournament knowing that you're most likely going to finish below 100th, you're most likely going to have a story that is heartbreaking to you that no one else really cares about. And people are just going to look at the standings and not look at what was nosing, touching, slashing at your bait. But I also feel like in certain instances, all it takes is one cast and you've more than 100x what you paid for that bait in winnings. So it's like a timing deal. Like this was also like a perfect marketing deal. Like it was a perfect example and like some videos, like I said, with that bait and then a custom paint job and then a limited number available and then a specific draw. Like there was some sort of psychology there where I was like, I've heard about this. I know Brandon's throwing it. I've seen a video that like Clint's posted and then Justin Kimmel was doing some stuff. I go to a blueback lake at the end of the year. Yes, I need this. There's only 40. Let's do it. And before I knew it, it was like, your order has been confirmed. And I was like, that's how it works in the industry, right?
Yeah. You're like, what just happened? Now I'm $280.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm one cast away at Hartwell from, a 5-pound spot or a freak show of a largemouth eating it and going, all right, well, there you go. Now I'm fishing on the final day because of it. It's the way I justify that.
Yeah, and honestly, what Clifford said about getting addicted to it. I used to be addicted to topwater fishing, and so honestly, it's like that's a double-edged sword because I had some really high finishes on topwater. Whether it's a walking bait or a hollow body frog, like those were like my 2 jams for years. Like I would just
living in the danger zone.
Do what?
I said that's living in the danger zone.
Yeah, and that's when I didn't throw a wacky worm much. So like I didn't even have a good follow-up bait, you know. So,
you're just hoping they ate the thing.
Yeah, I was just like they would blow up on it and miss it, and I just throw it right back in there on them.
Nice.
Like it's so dumb because I'm thinking like if I would have had a wacky worm at some of those events.
Did you throw a wacky worm at all in Mississippi when you were leading out of the marina there?
No.
So you didn't have a follow-up bait, a wacky worm?
I had a fluke. But
a Texas rig, a finesse deal with all those fish that were in those slips?
So I threw a fluke and I threw a chatterbait.
Okay.
But But I mean, a follow-up bait, a fluke is decent, but a wacky worm is like phenomenal. So it's like that one I could have done so much better in. I feel like the one that Hackney beat me, Texoma.
Yep.
I lost by a little under 2 pounds.
I remember
that was like a top water bonanza on that final day.
Yeah.
And there was like so many fish on that final day that would just blow up on it so hard. They would even hit it the second time. But they were just like, I honestly don't even think they were trying to eat it. They didn't like it. They just were slapping at it. And I was just like, I'm thinking now, like, man, if I could have had that wacky worm and the confidence that I have in it right now on that day, it could have been pretty
ugly.
sweet. It could have been pretty sweet.
Is that where you guys weighed in and they had us all do the interviews on the blacktop cement and at the casino? And it was
casino.
I kid you not, it was probably 135 degrees surface temp.
Oh, it was brutal. Absolutely. No wind at all. No shade.
It's heinous. Like freshly blacktop too.
Oh yeah. Like the blackest.
Black. But yes, like, I mean, like, and it was so hot that I remember the blacktop was like a little squishy under your feet. Like, oh God, that was miserable.
Yeah, and you
and imagine all I'm there is to interview the guys. I didn't even get to fish or have a chance to win 10 grand. I got to interview everybody. It was bad.
Yeah, you probably hated it. Yeah,
I loved the venue, and I loved that the casino supported it and that they had the bass fishing there and the fans came out. It was fantastic, especially there. I'm just strictly talking about the heat coming off the blacktop.
Yeah, you would look out over that parking lot and you could see the heat. Like it was like that little hazy look, when the sun's shining through. Yeah, that's what it was.
Remember, everyone would congregate on like the little strip of grass that was in the median deal. Yeah, that was. All right, dude. Well, like I said, I wanted to get you on. I really enjoyed this chat, and good luck in the remaining 4 events as you work your way towards your 8th Bassmaster Classic.
Yeah, man, that would be awesome.
Your first Elite Series win.
Yeah.
You're dangerously getting close to being on that list now, Brandon.
I'm waiting, man.
The best to have never won one. Bill Owen got off the list a couple years ago. I mean, it's a good list to be on, but it's also a list you don't want to be on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think me and my buddy Clifford we're both chomping at the bit for that first Elite win. So yeah, hopefully I can get it done this next 4 events, and hopefully you'll get it done in the next couple of opens for you.
Yeah, as I said, you're always, in your case, 4 days, but 3 days away from completely changing your entire career, which is awesome because there's not many sports where, you can leave home and it's totally different scenario and you return home afterwards just a week later. That's one of the things I love about fishing. You're just a couple good decisions away from a totally different conversation.
Well, yeah, like a few decisions change your life forever.
Yep.
Like that's bizarre.
It's wild when you think about it. You do something and you dedicate your life to it like you have for so long.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to, like you said, 1 or 2 decisions. And that's the difference between like fishing immortality and returning to the grind.
Yeah, that's what makes it so great, man. Appreciate you having me on, Matt.
All right. Have a good one. See you, Brandon.
All right, buddy. See you.
All right. That is Brandon Carr. We're going to take a break. When we come back, hey, we have a 41st BFL All-American champ. We have a mystery event for the BPT coming up. And we're going to talk about kind of those things and what to expect. It is BTL on a Monday. We'll be back right after that.
It's definitely a lot colder today.
Man, I really need to make this cut. I need to make up points quick.
Positive mental attitude.
I hope they stay where I found them.
Are they even pulling water?
Too far.
I hope nobody else.
Man, it's too windy.
The water's too high.
Avco, keeping you comfortable on the outside, no matter how you're feeling on the inside.
In 2023, we became a household name in the crappie fishing world thanks to Power Breaks, the game changer. Hey, bass fishing world, buckle up, because you're next. It's going to be fun. Welcome to the next evolution of our product line, Power Brake Sidekick, designed to install right on your shallow water acres. We are the first and only fishing brake company to offer a breakaway system. Just like with the Game Changer, the Power Brake Sidekick has it as well. And it's not a matter of if you're going to need it, it's when.
Power Brakes, the most durable fishing brakes available on the market today. Made right here in the USA with our rock-solid 2-year warranty.
Hey, not all fishing brakes are built equally, and you owe it to yourself to find out why ours are different. Power Brake Sidekick. Order yours today at mypowerbrakes.com. You'll be glad you did.
Have you considered purchasing new electronics for your rig? The type of mounts you choose to protect your investment should be part of the decision-making process. No matter if you prefer 1, 2, or 3 graphs up front, Beatdown Outdoors has a solution for you. Adjustable, versatile, rigid, and made in the USA. What's your ultimate electronic setup? Check out the full selection of Beatdown Outdoors products by visiting beatdownoutdoors.com.
Yes. Fishing isn't just a hobby, it's an obsession. Whether it's blazing hot or bitterly cold, bright sunshine, raining, or even snowing, someplace, somewhere, there's a fish that's ready to bite. And as the angler, you need baits that will catch the fish anywhere, anytime, no matter the conditions. From throwing topwaters to cranking the depths, know the baits to throw. Choose Spro.
Having confidence in your tackle while on the water is one of the main things to success, in my opinion. In the last couple of years with Denali, I've had just that. From anything from spinning rods, casting rods, tungsten products, even now to casting and spinning reels, I have the confidence to go out there and get the job done and know that all my equipment is going to handle it and do it just the way I want it. The thing about Denali is you've got great quality products at a great price point, so make sure you check them out.
All right, wrapping things up here on BTL. Let's talk the All-American. We've done multiple shows about the All-American. We've done All-American weeks. We've done all sorts of stuff with the All-American. It's one of the craziest events in professional bass fishing. And I do not know. I will say now it is much more difficult to kickstart a career off of an All-American win than it was back in the days when Shaw Grigsby and Stephen Browning, I think Jeremy Lloyd, like a number of these guys have won the All-American and then launched their career off of that All-American victory. Paul Marks Jr. wins on a very stingy Cherokee Lake this past weekend. He gets a check for $120,000. Gets a spot in the Toyota Championship for like $250,000 on that. But I kind of mentioned it with Brandon. He's a Georgia angler who is young and has some insane top 10. So he's fished 24 events with MLF. He has 15 top 10s already in 2023 and 2024. Between Tackle Warehouse Invitationals, Toyota Series, and BFLs, this is nuts. 6th, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, 9th, 6th, 1st, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. So over 10 top 10s just in the past year. He wins on Cherokee with the first. He almost won at Lake Eufaula. He jumped in. He jackpotted the Invitational. Won $50,000 in that back in May, like just a couple weeks ago. Finished second in that event. Went 20, and then 17 for almost a 60-pound total for $50,000. But big shout out to him on a very stingy Cherokee Lake. A couple guys have asked. Yes, I'm working on getting his contact info and trying to get him on the show for Wednesday. I think that would be a very interesting show. Tomorrow, Gene Gilliland will be in studio talking Bass Fishing Hall of Fame grants and projects, as well as a handful of other things. And then also Wednesday, do not forget, Wednesday at 12, we'll be live back with Seth Feider from Mille Lacs. So that's all we got for today. Same place, same time tomorrow. I'm headed up towards Tulsa after this. I've got the new Puma STS that I'm trying to get ready in time for the next Open on Lake Eufaula. Putting the power brakes on, the new and improved power brakes are getting on the vessel, and then I'll actually do like a walkthrough on these things. Hey, if you guys enjoy the show, enjoy the content, the guests that we've been having on, greatly would appreciate it. Give this a thumbs up on YouTube. Also, follow if you're listening on iTunes. Every month, the sponsors of the show get a list of comments and feedback, a ranking or a review on iTunes. Some of those kind words go directly to sponsors, which allows for more BTLs, more on-location stuff, and more shows. So big thank you to Brandon Card for jumping on. Gene Gilliland tomorrow. Seth Feider live from the water through Omnia on Wednesday. Uncle Frank on Thursday. And then I'm fishing this weekend. But that's all we got for today. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow. Later.